It is 3 a.m. in the morning, and to the hundreds of miners who work in this active volcano, it's another day at the office, and potential injury, or even worse, death. This is Ijen, and these men risk their lives every day for this. A piece of yellow stone. The locals call this devil's gold. This stone is only extractable in the mouth of the volcano, an environment that can be described as hell on earth. This stone is called sulfur, and this is the story of the men who made a deal with the devil. Today, we can find sulfur in many everyday products like skincare, fertilizer, and even some foods, but the use of sulfur has been part of human history for many years. The ancient name for sulfur was called brimstone, and brimstone mining has been mentioned in legends for centuries, spanning the biblical times, ancient Egypt, the Romans, and to now. The earliest record of mining of sulfur that I can find was by the Romans in Sicily, whereby they used sulfur to make weapons and fireworks. And of course, at the time, this would have been an intensely laborious activity. But wait, ancient Egypt, the Romans, these were times and practices that existed thousands of years ago. But why do they still exist today? The answer lies within Ijen. Ijen is located directly across the island of Bali. By motorbike, it's around 4 to 5 hours away. You have to take this boat in order to get to Ijen, but once you start crossing the narrow strait, you don't go to Ijen. Ijen comes to you. Ijen is an active stratovolcano. A stratovolcano is literally how normal people would imagine a volcano to be, a cone-shaped mountain with a crater on the peak. Its shape was built up by centuries of hardened lava and tephra, a mountain that withstood the continuous eruptions and the wrath of Mother Earth. The last time this volcano erupted was 1999, and to say that these miners are risking their lives is a true understatement. With little time to spare, we start our journey at 12 a.m., just like the miners. These miners begin work under the cover of night to avoid the punishing heat during the day. To see the miners at work, we need to go to the crater, which is a bit over 2,700 meters high. This means that it's almost a 3-kilometer hike up the mountain, then down to the crater. Now 3 kilometers doesn't sound like that much, but after the first kilometer, there aren't any roads. Every day, these miners would trek up the mountain, then climb down the crater, extract the sulfur, climb out of the crater, then back down the mountain. If they're quick, they can do this whole process 2 times. This doesn't sound too complex, right? Well, you'll see later. People usually come to Ijen to see 2 things: the 2 sapphires of Ijen. This turquoise lake is magnificent in nature. Located at the center of the Ijen crater, it symbolizes the beauty of Ijen. Beauty in disguise. This is the world's most acidic lake. One swim in here and you're bound to die. The buildup of sulfuric compounds and minerals within this lake has made this lake one full of death and poison. Inhaling too much of the sulfuric fumes and you're bound to pass out. And then the blue flames of Ijen. These blue flames in its beauty masks the dangers faced by the miners. These blue flames are created from lighting the leaking sulfuric gases during the mining process. Miners light this gas on purpose to create this beautiful flame in order to attract tourists so they can earn a few extra bucks. It's a shame that most tourists are only here to see the 2 sapphires of Ijen, because the true stories of Ijen lies within the people who risk their lives every day. The devil's gold, as the locals call it, is ironic on biblical proportions. Brimstone was the subject of God's punishment. In the Bible, the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed by God due to their wickedness with a rain of fire and brimstone. In the book of Revelation, hell was described to have a lake of fire burning with brimstone. A lake of fire? Burning sulfur? Sounds familiar? It is literally as if these miners are being punished and living on hell on earth. Oh, you don't believe me? These miners come here every day. It's like a different planet. Ijen is the last place in the world that still mines sulfur by hand and from a volcano. Around the world, sulfur is mainly obtained through oil refineries and processed by large machines. Here, volcanic gases that are escaping through the surface of the crater is channeled through a bunch of pipes. With the passing of gas, no pun intended, it essentially condensates the molten sulfur. Once this sulfur solidifies on the crater's surface, they get large tools and start chipping away at it. They pick up these small pieces of sulfur and fill up their baskets. Once they are done with their spot, another miner will likely take their place.
So every day they come here and they mine this and look at all that, to carry all that all the way back down the mountain to sell it. And how much do you sell it for?
The sulfur is 1,250 rupiah per kg.
Per kg.
Per kg.
Oh my gosh, so 1,100 rupiah.
Yeah.
That's nothing. That's very,
Different.
yeah. It's so hot and it's like, you can smell the sulfur, and like just now when we were taking pictures, the sulfur got in our eyes and it was like really hurt. So like these guys actually like, it's hard work, man. Very hard work.
This is our tour guide, Arif, and he used to be a miner himself. He worked hard and became a tour guide so he can leave this line of work.
Do you know people who accident in the here?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
But it's not so really.
Usually it's the tourist, yeah?
Yeah.
It's not the workers, it's the tourist, yeah?
Sometimes the worker
Also. Oh, okay.
Did you ever accident? Have you ever, yeah?
It's not really.
No?
It's not so big.
Lucky.
Just
falling down.
Falling down, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it's not a long way, and it's not long. Actually, only 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. Short
Yeah. How much do you have to lift?
Actually, for me, about around 50 or 60.
Yeah. You get sick from the sulfur? You sick? You get sick? Oh man.
Actually, but sometimes the other people or the other miners, top requirement, until 80 or 90 kilos.
Oh wow.
For 1 day.
And how much do you make one day?
Actually, almost 2 times or 3 times.
Up the mountain?
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible.
Since we were here, Henry and I decided to try and lift these baskets, and honestly, it was so damn heavy.
Crazy, bro. I don't know how you do it, man.
This is so heavy!
You try walking?
What your name, your guy?
Dude, that's fucked.
That's crazy.
Maybe a bit what?
Wow, very hard work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then this guy just deadlifts 100 kilos and just makes me and Henry look like absolute pussies.
Oh my gosh. How heavy is it? Kilos!
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this guy's a strong man. Crazy. And how much money is if he sell?
80.
80K? Arif, so which one broken?
There's one broken in here, but now
Oh my
no
gosh.
broken.
Yeah, so from that,
Yeah, from there.
70 kilos.
70 kilo. Normally, almost every miners they bring 70 kilos, but the top requirement or the one man until 90 or 100 kilos.
What? And you
Every
do that
days.
every day?
Every day.
How many times up, down?
Actually, normally twice or 2 times.
What?
But sometimes the other people, the other miners until 4 times or 5 times.
And then you don't have wheelbarrow before, so you have to carry like the basket, yeah?
only with the basket, without trolley.
God.
8 years ago, harder than now.
That's crazy.
Their injuries aren't just external, they're internal too. In the late 1800s, sulfur miners were only able to live to around 30 years old. Now it's slightly better. They can usually live till 50, which is still pretty grim. The sulfuric gas they breathe in is incredibly detrimental to their lungs. Our guide forced us to leave the crater after 10 to 15 minutes because it would be too dangerous to stay for too long. But this place does make for some insane cinematics. The top of the crater is also another highlight that most people miss. Our guide told us that this is one of his favorite spots because it means that they live to fight another day. It's incredibly sad to see these miners make such low wages, and that most of the sulfur is being sold to middlemen who would likely then sell it to massive corporations. There's literally a sulfur refinery very close to the mountain, and they essentially buy all the sulfur from these miners. And to the people here, it is their livelihood. It is their way to feed their family, and hopefully a way for their children to break this cycle and escape.
Yeah. So Arif used to be a miner here, and now he's a tour guide. His English is very good. So if you ever need a tour guide in Ijen, this is my friend. He's very good. He takes all the shortcuts and everything.
Yeah.